Hello, sir. Welcome to the Salesforce testing guy. How are you, sir?
Hey Gandharv, I'm good. How are you?
I am very fine, sir. Thanks for asking. And as you already aware, like sir, like the today's agendas of podcast is like the questions which comes into the mind of a fresher, which is related to the testing in Salesforce.
Mm-hmm.
So in this podcast, we are gonna discuss about like all those set of questions that I have, come across with all those freshers who are looking for a job change or who wants to start their career into the field of Salesforce. So while
Mm-hmm.
meeting up with all of them, I have prepared a set of questions for you, and I think you are the perfect person. Like your experience already noticed that you have a very good exposure in the Salesforce testing and manual as well as automation part. And so, in order to start this podcast, I just want you to please introduce yourself to our audience so that they have a better idea about you, like what you have done till now, your total experience. You are currently associated with firm. So, over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much. And before starting, I would like to say that I have come across your videos on your channel, and I
Okay.
have seen some podcasts. And normally, I'm not the podcast guy, but I did see your podcast, and I did find some value in it, and that
Okay.
is why I decided to share my inputs as per my knowledge. So I hope that this podcast of ours helps someone somewhere. I mean, even if you are able to help 3 to 4 people, I think that is more than enough from the means
True.
of this video. So yeah, that before I mean, let me share some insights about me. As you mentioned, I am Chaitanya Sethi, and
Okay.
I have been into the IT industry for more than 5 years now.
Okay.
And uh, I literally, I my complete career has been into Salesforce. I
Okay.
am 4 times certified in Salesforce. I have done these certifications over the course of years, and I have been in the quality domain from the very start. And when we came fresh out of college, we did not know what is quality, what is automation. There was just uh, you know a buzz about these words, automation, Salesforce, and everything, but we did not know that what actually it is, what is the power of it, right? So it has been a good journey, and I have learned a lot. I have learned the nuances of the IT industry, the Salesforce industry, and everything. And I have I have worked with Accenture. That was my first organization.
Okay.
Then I moved to TOD. It's a Canadian-based Salesforce consulting firm. And then currently I'm working with the MTX Group. It's a US-based firm, and we are
Yes.
a platinum Salesforce partner as well. So yeah,
Okay.
our major line of business is Salesforce, and that is about my company. Now a bit about me. I have worked in both the I've I mean if I say it in the testing world, I have been on the both side, functional
Okay.
and automation. And
Okay.
just saying in one line, uh, functional is as important as automation, right? So and yeah, say testing in Salesforce is a specific domain. So I hope in today's session I can help you out with those. Everybody who's watching will get some insights about it. So yeah, that's a
Definitely.
bit about me, and we can I can add on while we proceed.
True, true, true. Like you have already told, like you are having working experience with one of the leading firms like Accenture,
Yeah,
currently associated with MTX Group, one of the platinum Salesforce partner. It's
correct.
a blessed part. So yeah,
Mm.
like for example, first question is always come up in the mind of a fresher is like how Salesforce testing is different from mobile-based application testing and web-based testing according to your experience and perception. What do you think, what is the difference between both of them?
See, I would not say that Salesforce is something. It's a rocket science, or you will have to do a lot of things before going into the Salesforce domain. But yeah, Salesforce is different from your typical web-based applications or your typical mobile-based applications. The reason being that when you are testing a Salesforce application or a Salesforce built system, you have to have the backend knowledge of the system as well, right?
Okay.
Now, when I say the backend knowledge, normally people who are not from the core technical side will get a bit anxious that if he's saying the backend, does it mean that I'll have to dive into the code or something? No, that's not the case. In Salesforce, you need to have the access and the basic understanding of the complete structuring of how the Salesforce has been built, right? What are
Okay.
the different types of clouds? Uh, what is the limit of users? What types of sandboxes are there? And what is setup? How to get into object managers? A
Okay.
bit technical words, but yeah, these are all configurations. You need to know about the process builders, workflows, because when you start testing it, you will not only test it from the UI perspective. You have to get an understanding of the system. There might be times that you are given a scenario to test, right? But that scenario cannot be tested just by plain UI knowledge of the system, right? Normally,
Okay.
which happens in the web apps, that you go into the application and you run your test suits and everything. But that is not the case in Salesforce. You'll have to have some
Okay.
knowledge about the process builders, workflows, and everything to get a better understanding of what has been actually implemented in the scenario. So that is something
Okay.
what differentiates Salesforce testing from the other domains of testing.
Okay. And as you already told in your like answer, like some of the key concepts that are widely used in
Mhm.
Salesforce. First one is process builder is there,
Hmm.
setup option is there, where we have object manager and so on. In
Hmm.
order to learn all these topics, yes, we have one thing that is Trailhead, an ocean
Correct.
of information, which is
Yeah.
totally related to the Salesforce. But other than that, if a person who is not aware of about Trailhead,
Hmm.
so at that moment in time, what he or she should have to, do in order to learn about these particular concepts.
I would say that Trailhead is it's an ocean of knowledge as far as
Okay.
Salesforce is concerned. But I understand as a newbie, as a fresher, it can be a bit overwhelming for you to go into Trailhead and. So
Yes.
first of all, what I would suggest that what I did is you go and you create a dev org. First of all, do that. Have your own
Okay.
Salesforce personal org wherein you can play around. There will be Never do it in your projects or anything. That
Sure.
is a disaster, right? So never say
Hmm.
that I want to practice, let me go into the sandbox and let me do that. That's a disaster. Create
Okay.
your own org. Try get your hands dirty. Create anything. Break the workflow rules. Do anything. That is the best way you get the knowledge, right? And if you want to get the knowledge in a very simplistic manner before jumping onto Trailhead, what I would say is that you can go and search for some very basic tutorials on YouTube, right? Wherein they
Okay.
will just tell you about what is Salesforce, what is setup, how to put up profiles, roles, and everything. And I think that will not take more than 24 to 20 or 28, 30 hours to complete
Okay.
thing to learn up. And then once you're
Okay.
there, go into the Trailhead and get the things. And one more thing that I would say that, my personal suggestion is do the Salesforce certifications, but do not rush for it, right? Get some
Okay.
realistic knowledge on the certifications and then go for them. That will be more
Okay.
beneficial to you when you plan to grow in the career.
Okay. And you have mentioned like go for certification, but don't be in a rush. Like as a tester, which certification is best for a fresher who wants to start their career into the fields of sales for testing at an
Uh,
initial level, I guess.
Hands down, the first certification is Salesforce admin. If you're
Okay.
planning to go for any certification in the coming years, and Salesforce has a pool of certifications, right?
Hmm.
And but you have to choose your battles, correct? You have to select your certifications that you have to do. You cannot do architects or all those sort of certifications because that are not in alignment with your goals, right? So the
Okay.
first certification, answering your question, is the admin certification. It is a must for every certification. If you go for an app builder, if you go for a sales cloud, if you go for a service cloud, the prerequisite is admin. So it is
Okay.
the first step of Salesforce certifications. And I would quote in, twice or in double quotes that do not take the admin certification lightly. You have
Okay.
to have a very good knowledge of the complete system in order to give the admin. So if you're preparing for an admin, take at least a month or two, get your hands dirty on the dev org, do some work on your projects in the company, right? Uh,
Okay.
Look at the trailheads and do some sample questions on trailhead and then go for the exam. That is,
Okay.
see, the basic agenda is that if you have a certification and if I ask you a question about Salesforce admin, you should know it, right? So the main agenda
Definitely.
is not earning a certification. The main agenda is having the knowledge. And one thing that I have realized, you can have 10 certifications and still, you can have troubles while in the projects or anything. And you can have two
Okay.
certifications done very well, and you'll have a better growth opportunity and everything. Yeah.
Okay. It means like quality is always better than quantity. You can say that.
And we are talking about quality here, right? So yeah,
Yes. Yes.
it adds up.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And like n number of technologies are n number of CRMs are available in the market. Like But according to you, like why Salesforce is in demand or why hashtag Salesforce is trending according to your perception?
This is the same question I had. When I joined my first organization, there were a lot of CRMs like SAP, Microsoft Dynamics, Oracle. Everything is there, right? So I was wondering one day that these systems have been there for n number of years, numerous years, and then what happened that Salesforce came into the market and it became a major holder in the CRM market. If you just simply Google, you'll realize that Salesforce is the leader, has the
Yes,
maximum market cap in the CRM industry, right? So
yes,
what I would say are the two main things. The first one being that Salesforce is comparatively very easier to use, right?
okay,
The main agenda, if you read the newsletters or the new things that Salesforce is doing.
yes,
So as someone who has been there in the Salesforce ecosystem for 5 years, I can say that Salesforce is ever evolving, right?
yes,
Their main agenda is that they want to make the development as codeless as possible, right? The best
okay,
example is that they've introduced lightning flows recently. The things
yes,
that triggers could do earlier, now the flows are able to do it, right? So when
okay,
I say triggers, I mean code, using the Apex code and everything, right? But with the help of flows, you're able to do it in the configuration means. So their main vision or their main aim as a product company is to make software which is which reduces the dependency on code, maximizes the configuration, and as a result of that, of course, even if I tell you that you can build your own system, or the systems are very easier to maintain with the help of less code, of course you'll go for that, right?
definitely,
Yeah, that is one point. Second point is that Salesforce keeps itself very much updated with the market, right? Cryptocurrency came in, it was a buzz.
yes,
AI, ML, everything. I mean, you ask people, I do talk to some freshers, and everybody has AI and ML in their resumes, right? It's
yes,
like a trend these days, right? And
yes,
but Salesforce, if you go and search on Trailhead, you'll find something relating to Salesforce to AI ML, something relating to
yes,
cryptocurrencies, right? Something relating to data analytics, right? Like they came up with the Einstein and everything. So they keep themselves very much attached to the different things ongoing in the market. Not only in the CRM industry, they attach themselves to different things as well, right? And that is the
yes,
thing that I think made Salesforce stand out. That is,
yes,
these
true.
are the two things I think.
And I personally believe like I am also into the Salesforce industry and being a Salesforce QA engineer, like I also believe in one thing. I just wanted to add one point over there. Like
Mhm.
it will definitely help out to our freshers also. Like
Mhm.
it is not limited to just a CRM. It has its own different cloud. Like for
Correct, correct.
sales, it has sales cloud. For marketing,
Yeah,
it has marketing clouds, and so on
exactly.
and so forth. Even as far as like any non-technical individual who just
Mhm.
want to pursue their career into the BA, he or
Mhm.
she can directly, go to the
Exactly,
trailhead and learn
exactly,
from there. Like,
exactly.
so that
Yeah,
is why Salesforce has footprint everywhere. Like
they have.
that is why they have an employee strength of very large employment sector, and on from last 10 years he's leading the market. Salesforce is leading
There,
the
there,
market.
and
So
they
yeah,
will, they will. Yeah, and the
yeah,
reason
yeah,
is,
definitely.
the leadership. Mark Benioff and
Yes,
the other people they're just marvelous. I mean, I have heard some of their videos or podcasts. You get to hear some people, and you realize that these people are here to stay, and
yes.
so much to learn from such leaders. But yeah, adding to your point, it attaches itself to everything, right? So that is the way you
Mhm.
stay relevant in the market. So yeah.
True, true. And like as a fresher, like for example, a person whose name is Salesforce testing guy is a fresher. You can see
Mhm.
that like, and he is currently pursuing either BTech or MCA, and they have a curriculum like in their syllabus. There is no a single point which is related to the Salesforce,
Correct.
and you know that like we have a different syllabus as per the different universities. So but Salesforce is not at all there now at
Mhm.
that moment in time. Like how he or she, if he wants to start their career into the field of Salesforce testing,
Mhm.
what all the preconditions that he or she must have to fulfill in order to start their career according to your perception?
That's a good question, and that's a relevant question for people who are studying right now, because you know what? Imagine yourself in the college and you hear Salesforce, Salesforce everywhere, and you have no idea of what is happening actually, right?
Yes,
So first of all, I would say that to not just hear about Salesforce and go into it. Do your research at your own level. And when I was in college, we were not that smart. that, we did not have that much
Yes.
knowledge about what is happening around, right? But folks today, they have a lot of, I mean, they're very smart and they're very dynamic. They straight away go and they find 10 articles and everything, right? So first of all, take your decision that whether do you want to go into this field or not. And if yes, then Salesforce has a lot of programs where it specially focuses on the college people, right? On the graduates or the
Yes.
people who are pursuing their education, right? So I mean, Salesforce have their brand ambassadors in every city, in every area. So you
Yes.
will definitely, if contact Salesforce, or there are a number of means, right? So you contact your HRs or the college HRs, the placement people, right? Uh, you must be having some seniors in some companies who are working in Salesforce. Talk to them, right? Find out a link, and then the one way, which is the common ways, that you can go onto YouTube, you can read about it, and then that is a traditional way. What I would suggest is that find a link, right? And you need not have a lot of huge network. Simply go and tell your placement guy that, I want to go into Salesforce and I have these 4 to 5 people who are interested with me. And
Okay.
if he or she is relevant in the market, they will understand what Salesforce is, right? Arrange a brand ambassador for us, and they will come to your college. They'll give you sessions, right? And they will try to train you in Salesforce, because of course it's beneficial for them as well. They're adding more people to the Salesforce ecosystem. So I think that is the uh, more new approach that people are following these days. And how do I know this? Because in I mean, the college from where I did my engineering, even they started this. A couple of students gathered up, and now they are there is a complete training going on in the Salesforce ecosystem
Yes.
by the actual Salesforce experts coming onto their campuses, right? So that is
Wow.
the best thing. I think that is something that we can suggest to the people.
Yes, yes. Basically, Salesforce has different group leaders according to the communities. Like,
Correct,
for
correct.
example, if I'm not wrong, like from MPX group, Gaurav Khetrapal sir is there, who
Oh,
is leading. Yes,
he is the awesomest guy we know, and
yes,
I don't know if awesomest is the word or not, but
yes,
to tell the amount of respect that I and other folks like us have for Gaurav sir is at par. And yeah, I would
true.
again say not a word, but yeah, he's the awesomest guy we know in
Yes,
Salesforce.
yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Like yeah. Like sir, like for example, at an initial level I don't have any idea about sales for testing. Like,
Hmm.
so at that moment in time, if someone gives me like please test this particular functionality, because testing is first of all about functionality, then non-functionality,
Correct,
that is my perception. So at
correct.
that moment in time, if I am a fresher and I don't know what is actually testing, so at that moment in time approach plays a very vital role. So,
Mhm.
as per your experience, how to improve your approach of testing?
Approach of testing is, so I'll give you a scenario. Let's suppose you're working on a project and there are 3 4 chaps with you, right? And I mean, there are 5 user stories and you got assigned one per person, right? So if you
Okay,
want to learn more, and I'll just cut something and I'll add something new. Do never take quality or testing in a very light manner, that, what, I'll do this. I mean, what is there to learn? Once this is something what an amateur would say, right? Once you get into the industry, you will see that there is so much to learn, that it is at par with any domain, right? So
okay,
talking about coming back to your question, is that whenever you get those stories, do not only stick to your user stories. And I'm not saying
okay,
that you burn extra hours and you sit and read all the user stories and everything. Don't do that, of course. There always has to be a balance between things. But those user stories, go through those user stories from end to end scenarios, and try to connect the dots, right? For example, if you have a workflow story in your place, and if someone else has a flow story, right? So the data is flowing from one object to the other. So try to make a sense of it. So you know what, within 5 to 6 months, you'll have a very good understanding of the stories. And a practical problem that freshers normally have is that they're not able to read between the lines in the acceptance criteria, right? So
okay,
if I give you a user story, right? And the BA or the person will write it in a very straightforward manner, that go to workflow rules, do this, right?
hmm,
I mean, they'll not include all the details, right? But as a
okay,
fresher, maybe it will not make a lot of sense to you, and you will raise the questions and everything, right? So, in order to go through this, in order to overcome this, try to try to connect the dots. That is what I would say.
okay,
Even I face this problem, but I mean, as of today, it is very easier for me to read between the lines, even if the BA or I mean, the person who wrote the story did miss something by mistake, I'm able to connect the dots that, you know what, he or she meant this. And that usually is the case. So that is, I would say
Okay.
that try to get an end-to-end functionality understanding for a couple of projects. And with the time, you will realize that you have a lot of understanding going on.
Like in this particular set, like your conclusion should be like this, like always believe in reality and try to be practical.
Uh,
You can
exactly. I mean, think from the user perspective.
Okay,
To put
thinking
in
from
a
the
small.
perception of user. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, that's perfect. Like as you know that I'm very much active on LinkedIn, and I just saw 3 to 4 months ago back one buzzword is very trending, like full stack QA. So
It is
according to
trending.
you, according to you, what it is actually, and you just share your thoughts about this particular full stack QA.
So first of all, full stack, wherein if full stack web developer, full stack QA, wherever it is associated, it means that you are jack of all and king of
Hmm.
one, not none, king
Okay,
of one. You have
none.
to be king of one, right?
Okay,
So full stack QA is something that, till now we have had different verticals that, we you go to into an organization, you're doing functional or automation, right? Or you're doing functional and automation. That's it, right?
okay,
And then you're doing performance or security testing, load testing. I mean, that comes under performance and that sort of testing, integration testing, accessibility testing. Those different things are there, right? Uh, Same thing happened with web development. There were people who were doing front end, there were people who were doing back end. Then
okay,
some guy came up with an idea that, you know what, let's club it, and let's train people to learn both of them, and they'll be termed as highly skilled, right? And as of today, there are people who know the full stack thing. There are people who know the front end or the back end. So the same thing is happening with the QA domain as well right now. The
okay,
full stack QA thing is in a lot of trend these days, but what I feel is that a very few people understand the basic thing of it, right? This is the same with automation. There is a lot of buzz, but nobody understands what is automation, where
yes,
actually automation can be used, what are the limitations of it, right? And they don't never understand that automation can never ever completely conquer functional. Whoever
okay,
has done automation in their career will never say it that, we can automate everything, right? So that is the
definitely,
same. Yeah, so that is the same thing with full stack QA. As a full stack QA, you should know functional testing, you should know automation testing, you should know security, you should know performance. Now,
okay,
anybody listening or reading or viewing this will say that, okay, these are four verticals, I should know this. I mean, very easy to say, but yeah. So I agree
okay,
with that. But do not think it from the technical perspective. Think it from the generic perspective. So, for example,
okay,
when you log in on your working day, look at a project, right? And when you're testing it functionally, or you're automating some regression scripts, try thinking from the security point of view as well.
hmm,
How would you do that? So, for example, try that. You know what? I have this X profile, and he or she has the access to this object, right? But let me
okay,
go and see if this X profile has access to that object or not. That is not written anywhere in the story, right? But
okay,
security is a very crucial part of the complete testing domain, and there are ample amount of opportunities in the market, right? So that is how you develop a security or full stack mindset, right? It's not rocket science, it's not magic that you will go and you will learn JMeter, you'll learn Selenium, you'll learn all of that's not humanly possible. You cannot learn all the softwares. Full stack QA means that you need to have that mindset with you, right? So the
okay,
future is going to be that if there is a big account, if there's a big project, there are going to be one or two full stack QA engineers, right? So
okay,
one full stack QA engineer will have more proficiency in automation, but he or she will have an idea about security and performance as well. They will
okay,
not per se be doing it, but they can think of those scenarios, right? And then
definitely,
the second chap will be more proficient in security or integration, and they will be actually performing those scenarios. And whatever scenarios he or she thinks in the automation or functional thing, that the first guy can do. So that is going to
okay,
be the future right now. Instead of dividing them into verticals, everybody should know some of the different verticals. So I think that is what full stack QA is. And I personally believe that in coming years, full stack QAs are going to be a lot of in demand. So yeah, that's a good thing to fetch.
definitely. Like there are n number of automation tools are available in the market, like which are dealing with the Salesforce. Like Prover is
Mhm.
there, n number of tools are there, Selenium is there. But at an initial level, if I believe like I just want to move my career from manual to automation
Mm-hmm.
testing, so which tool, according to you, at an initial level will directly help me in order to learn a better and easy way, but with the minimal time? Although time, everyone, without investing time, you can't expect anything in a perfect way. But still, at an initial level, your recommendation tool, according to you?
Before recommending the tool, I would say that if you're transforming from functional to automation or from manual to automation, never underestimate manual, right? Do not do automation because you want to rush from manual, right? You will have to do manual at every point of your life, right? Even when you're running a script, then also if you see an issue that occurred through automation, you'll first go and validate it manually, right? So never
Okay.
ever underestimate the power of manual testing. It has to be there. And as an automation engineer myself, I have been doing both manual and automation, and I'll continue to do so. And that is the most practical thing I think I can advise for, that you make up your mind that you'll have to do both of them. Both of them are valuable, right? Now, talking about the tools, there are n number of tools in the market, but why to go for Selenium, right? The
Okay.
first one being that these configuration tools, they are ultimately based on the on some platform which has been coded, right? And code gives you a lot of power to play around in the system. As far
Hmm.
as the configurations or the record and play the systems are concerned, you are somewhere limited by their powers, right? It's out of the box. It's like a software. For example, me and you are talking on Skype here, right? If I want to change the color of red to green, I'll not be able to do that, correct? Because it's a product. I cannot
Yes.
do that. I do not have that power, correct? So
Yes.
try to learn something which gives you more power, and that is something that can be done with the help of code. Number one.
Okay.
Number two, that most of these tools are paid, right? They're
Okay.
heavily paid, and not all organizations will be able to afford them, correct? So when you are, as a fresher, if you're going for n number of companies, and of course you'll give a lot of interviews as a fresher, right? So you cannot
Yes.
stick to one thing, right? That, you know what, this particular software, it charges you around so and so money per month, and I know only this. So that gives a
Okay.
very bad impression, right? Selenium is open source, and every company on the planet is using it right now. So what I would
Yes.
suggest is that go with Selenium, learn the nuances of it, learn what frameworks are, learn Maven and everything, and that will open n number of opportunities for you.
Okay, sure, sure. Like your recommendation will be like as of now Selenium, because it is an
Selenium,
open source, and it is not at all limited, first of all. And
correct.
yeah, that definitely. And this is the last question, or you can say that your experience, you are having more than 5+ years of experience in Salesforce, and you are into automation now. I can say like with your answers, I must say like you are into core automation, if I'm not
Yeah.
wrong. Yeah.
Hmm.
So your recommendations or your advice, your suggestions to all those freshers who just want to start their career into the field of Salesforce testing?
Uh, I do not think I'm that much qualified to give some big advices, but what I would say from my experience is that the
Yes.
first thumb rule is that when you get assigned to the quality side of the of the IT domain, never ever, be sad about it, because let's face it, we have all been through that path, that, you know what, you get assigned to a QA or a quality project, and as a fresher, and there is a lot of negativity around it, right? So this is something that, I went through this for a couple of months when I was a fresher, and they were quite daunting. Those months were quite daunting for me, and
Okay.
I genuinely want to help out on this perspective, that it is equally good to all other domains. There are n number of things to learn. If you talk about money, if you talk about growth, there is exponential growth. You are very versatile as a QA engineer. You can practically work on any system, right? So please, 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 if you're getting tagged to the quality projects, do not make a very big deal out of it. It's a very good thing. If you have a
Yes.
passion for anything else, that's a different thing, right? But
Okay.
just for the sake of, you know uh, those rumors and everything, do not listen to it. You are working in the QA domain. I am working in the QA domain. I know a
Yes.
lot of people who are working in the QA domain, and if we talk about money, they're earning insanely. If we talk about their reputation, it's really good. The organizations are really good. So please do not fall for that. And when I was undergoing that particular thing, I somehow felt that, if I had some genuine guy who could help me out with this, maybe I would not have gone through those months, right? So if you I am taking your platform to say this, if you have any questions, any doubts about anything relating to the domain as a fresher, you can reach out. Anyone who's reviewing this can reach out to me. I will be more than happy to help on this, right? So my advice to this particular at this particular point is that take this in a very positive manner, right?
Okay.
And try to learn as much as possible, right? For example, for a domain or for a knowledge, or I mean for something, if we just before even learning it, if we make a negative outcome out of it, right, we'll not be able to take it very seriously and not gain a lot out of it, correct? So first of all, clear this from your mind. There is a lot to learn in the domain, right?
Okay.
And always keep yourself relevant. And you know what, as you, these first 2 to 3 years of your life in as a I mean the career are the
Okay.
most crucial, right? Do everything. There might be times that you'll feel that, what, this chap is giving me a lot of work, what should I do that, because that will
Okay.
somewhere pay you. But again, make yourself very versatile. Do not get in the comfort zone. If you're done with one domain for 1 year or so, try another domain, and you will face a lot of problems. Even when we were working on different projects and everything, when I came into Salesforce, when I came into automation and all those things, there was a lot of struggle. Honestly, a lot of struggle. I mean,
Okay.
I did not remember when I used to sit at the front of the laptop and when I used to get up, right? But those 3 4 months of hustling will push you to great extent in your career, right? So that is my advice.
Okay.
Please be versatile and please have a very positive mindset. And if at any
Okay.
point anyone viewing this has any questions about, what should I do, what is the future perspective and everything, reach out to me. I genuinely want to help on this point to everyone.
Yes, even I have mentioned your LinkedIn profile ID on the comment section. If
Yeah.
any individual, if any fresher who wants need guidance in the particular field which is related to the core automation, functional testing, which is related to Salesforce, related to the certification, he or she
Yeah.
will directly reach out to you.
Correct.
And thank you so much, sir, for joining and giving your valuable time. And the points that is shared by you is ultimately, having a very good respect, because you are into the core automation, and this is the thing like it is in demand right now. And
Mm-hmm.
these things will definitely help all those freshers who just want to start up their career into the field of Salesforce testing, and
Correct.
also to those individuals who just want to move their career into the field of Salesforce testing.
Salesforce. Correct.
So, and if you have any feedback you just want to share, you can share over there.
I think it was a wonderful interaction, and the only agenda of me joining this podcast is that I genuinely wanted to add
Yes.
some value. Even if 4 to 5 people view this and they have some good positivity around the things, I think my job is done. So I hope
Yeah.
that happens. And yeah,
Yes.
and thank you so much. And you are doing a wonderful thing. And I
Thank
see
you.
your energy, and I feel myself energized. So keep that thing up. And I wish you all the best. And yeah, rocket.
Thank you so much, and it means a lot for me. Bye bye.
Yeah. Bye bye.